Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to share with you one of my personal favourite stories from where I live, which is Greater Manchester. So, quick point on that before I get the story started. So, as of the mid 1970s, the county of Lancashire was divided into what is modern day Lancashire and Greater Manchester. For the purposes of the story that I'm going to be telling, Lancashire refers to both areas as it's pre 1970s. So, without further ado, I'll get into my story. So, the story is one which also requires a second bit of backstory to it. So, um, at a very earlier time in Britain's history, the borders between regions, countries, etc., was very blurry. So, certain mythology that is present in Wales and normally considered quite Welsh, and particularly those are found as part of the Arthurian myth cycles, also have their place here in the Northwest, but they're different versions of, I guess, not the same myths, the same themes of the myths, with different origins behind them. So this might sound familiar to people who are familiar with the Arthurian myth cycles and Welsh mythology, but it is um, a regional myth from the northwest of England. So the story goes that way, way back in history, the people in Lancashire were getting the grounds ready for some type of construction. The versions of the story always changed on what was being built. It's not really important to the story. They were getting the land ready for building. So while they were building, they stumbled across this stone object in the ground. So curious, the people start digging and trying to uncover this object, find out what it is. They find, some say it's a coffin, others say it's a chest. Either way, there's thought that there's going to be either grave goods or just treasure inside of this object. So they break it open, and it is said that two dragons, one black and one not black at all, no, one red and one white, um, burst out of this stone object. They're up into the sky. They start to fight with each other, and it causes great destruction to the land. The item was actually buried in a section of land that it didn't belong to either Yorkshire or Lancashire. So really, the story is basically saying it wasn't quite the northwest or the northeast; it was a neutral ground, and it was said to represent the spiritual or magical heart of either Britain as a whole or of the north of Britain. You have to remember as well, during the Roman invasion, Britannia, which is where we get Britain references from, Britannia Superior is like the south. Britannia Inferior was the north, so it was what was owned by the Roman Empire as opposed to what was occupied by the Romans. So the north was occupied. So, it's debatable of whether they mean that part of Britain or Britannia, or whether they mean the whole of the nation, or whether they just mean the north. So there's a bit of contention in the story. So I'm trying to add the relevant context. You can make your own mind up on that. But it's either the spiritual or magical heart center, and it was a neutral ground. And the dragons were fighting over the ownership of that power. Um, so a lot of fighting, a lot of destruction, and in the end, the red dragon claims the land, the unclaimed land. Um, the dragons then go their separate ways. They re-enter into the ground in different directions, and then shortly after, roses start to grow in the particular regions. So the white rose in Yorkshire for the white dragon, the red rose in Lancashire for the red dragon, and it's said that these dragons are effectively the spirit of the land, and these roses are the manifestation of that power in the land. So that is said to be the origin story of these roses. Part of traditional witchcraft is about spirit of place. So, of course, there's lots of all over. People who are familiar with traditional witchcraft know about this concept of serpentine power in the land, but sometimes those serpentine myths manifest as dragon stories. So really, this sort of short story is to say that it's one that I love, but I'm also encouraging people to find what is the spirit of the place where you live. Is there any stories there? How does that incorporate into your craft, if at all? And I'd be interested to hear other people's favourite regional stories. So if you let me know in the comment section below, or I don't know if people even still do video responses on YouTube anymore, but I actually liked when people did. So if you do, drop the link to the video response in the comments. And I'd really be interested to find out what's other people's spirit of place or just favourite sort of influential spirit led story of their area. So I look forward to hearing people's replies. Hopefully, please do though. I'd be quite interested in knowing other regions' sort of tales and land spirit stories. And yeah, let's get a conversation going. So that's my too longer than I thought it was going to, but that's my short little Cliff Notes version of this myth. Let me know yours. Love to hear it, and I'll catch you in the next video.